This video is on a graphical display called a histogram. In order to make a histogram, you first have to construct a frequency table. So let's use an example to learn what a frequency table is. The final scores for each golfer in a tournament are given below. Use the data to make a frequency table using intervals. Well, the first thing we want to do is pick out our minimum golf score. So let's see. Looks like 68 is our minimum. Now we want to scan through the data and also find the maximum or the biggest value. So let's see, the maximum, there's only one in the 80s. So the maximum value is 82. Now you want to have 5 or more what are called classes. So you take the range of the data, 82 minus 68 equals 14, that's called the range, and you divide it by 5. 14 divided by 5 is a number between 2 and 3. So you want to use either a class width of 2 or a class width of 3. And the best thing to do is just to pick one of them. I'll start with 2. Try it and see if you get at least 5 classes. All right, so what you do is the first class is 68 to 70. Notice if you subtract 68 from 70, you get 2. Then our next class would be 71 to 73, then 74 to 76, 77 to 79, and last we would have 80 to 82. Now, you want to make sure you have at least 5 classes and that you make it all the way from the minimum score to the maximum score, which we do. So now we're ready to start counting. All right. So between 68 and 70, I'm going to cross these off as I go. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 scores in that little range. 71 to 73. 71. Actually, I'm going to use a different color just in case I lose count. 71 to 73. 1, 2, 3, 4, 74 to 76, 74, 75, 76, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6 scores in that class. 77 to 79. 77, 78, 79. Okay, 1, 2 in that class. And then last we can see we have the 82. Now it's a real good idea to make sure you got them all. So we're going to add this up. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 6 is 13, plus 2 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And then make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I feel good that I've got them all. That's called a frequency table. You're just counting. Now we're going to turn our frequency table into a histogram. My little video is kind of in the way, but we're going to try to handle it. All right, so you put the class at the bottom is at the bottom of the columns. So 74 to 76, 77 to 79, and I'm going to go ahead and put this up at the top only because my video is in the way. And now you just put the frequencies on the vertical axis. I have to go from 1 to 6. And then you color in your bars to make your histogram. So 68 to 70, there are 3, so I just simply color in that bar all the way up to the 3. 71 to 73 needs to be colored in all the way up to the 4. 74 to 76 needs to go all the way up to the 6. 77 to 79 is too high, and 80 to 82 is just 1 high, and that's a histogram. I want you to notice, unlike a bar graph, in a histogram the bars touch. Bars touch, exclamation point. Okay, because 70, it butts up right up against 71, so there's no space between the bars. Now we're going to try this one more time, and then we're done with histograms. So here's some data on the finishing times in a 5K race in minutes. Now we've taken away, when they measure a race, they go to tenths or even hundredths of a minute. You know, they include some seconds or some decimal parts of the numbers. But this has been simplified because this is Algebra 1. The minimum value in this table is 19. The maximum value in this table is 34. So we're going to take 34 and subtract 19 to find the range of the data. Now we want at least 5 classes. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So a class width of 3 is something worth trying. Now when I did this myself with a class width of 3, I actually only ended up with 4 classes. So then I went back and said, okay, I'm going to do a class width of 2. Okay, so those are you can see my class width right here. And I'm going to create my table. Now, if I'm using a class width of 2, then my first class is from 19 to 21. Then I have 22 to 24, 25 to 27, 28 to 30, 31 to 33, and 34 to 36. And now I need to do some counting. 19, 20, 21. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 finishing times in that class. 22 to 24. Choose a different color. 22, 23, 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. From 25 to 27, 25, 26, 27. 25, 1, 2, 3. All right. Now 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 31, 32, 33, 1, 2, and then 34 will be the only one in that last class. All right, now let's draw a histogram. Now we're going to turn our frequency table into a histogram. So we're going to label the x-axis using the classes 19 to 21, 22 to 24, and so on. And we're going to label our vertical axis with our frequencies. And then we're going to shade in our bars using the frequencies. So the first class had 3 times in it. The second class has a frequency of 4 times in the third class occurred 3 times. The fourth class, 5 people fit into that class. 2 people fit into this class, and only 1 person in this last class. Now, when you look at a histogram, you can see that more people finished in the 28 to 30 class than in any other class. You can see that there's only one person in the last class, so it kind of gives you a little idea of the shape and the trends of the data. So this is how we create a histogram. Thank you for watching.